The middle of the generation is by far my favorite time of Half-Life when it comes to the lifespan of console generations. So for the PS4 had a crazy middle of the year with its games coming out, and currently the PS5 is entering that state. And one of the things that I like of this generation is speculating on what's going to happen the next gen. And when the PS4 was out, I was speculating that one of the coolest things this generation could have with the PS5 was ray tracing. And I remember showing my friend this demo of ray tracing where it had like these illuminate, like glass shaped balls rolling around and like lights going into them, and showing it to my friends out at the gym. And we were like, oh, that would be really cool. But one of the things that my friend said was like, it's an extreme excessive waste of resources. And as the guy who loves shiny things in video games and as an absolute giant fan of ray tracing, he was right. Ray tracing and 4K have single-handedly staggered this generation by a lot, inflating budgets for no reason whatsoever when rasterization is right there and looks 80 to 90% of give or take of what ray tracing does. And honestly, I wish that all games this generation had ray tracing if it was feasible and if it was cost effective. But unfortunately, it is not. We have gone very far when it comes to ray tracing and when it comes to 4K gaming, and making a giant leap, especially in ray tracing. But 4K, there's no reason. Like, honestly, guys, if you have a 4K gaming system, you're dumb. Like, I'm sorry, you're dumb. Like, you should not have a 4K screen. You have a 1440p screen, and you should run those frames through the roof. In fact, unless you don't edit or do anything like that, 4K is a waste of your time when it comes to gaming, especially if you want to put ray tracing on top of that. And it makes me happy that PlayStation announced not only that it was going to have 4 or 5 times stronger ray tracing on the PS6, or not announced, but there's leaks and rumors about it. But cutting edge tech isn't really what they're trying to do with this next console. They realized that the PS5 was a big jump when it comes to power, whether you believe so or not in the PC space. The PS5 was a giant leap. It's almost magic what they did with this PS5. Essentially, what the PS5 is a slower version of a 3060 Ti. That is black magic, folks. The technology for the SSD alone on the PS5 is insane, and they did such a good job. But very much like the PS3, yeah, you did such a great job with our consoles, but it costs so much. And of course, we didn't expect the world to end when the PlayStation 5 was going to come out with a pandemic. Prices of parts also went up, and I don't think are going to come down anytime soon. SSDs, which is an amazing part of the PS5, it makes it one of the best experiences when it comes to gaming. Smooth loading, no load screens for the most part on most of your first party game, and they load these giant gorgeous games extremely fast to the point where, like, you know, where you would be able to go get like a sandwich or something when something was loading. Like, you can't do that anymore with the PS5. You will not come back in time. But is primarily the reason why the PlayStation 5 Pro is so expensive and why the PlayStation 5 has stayed expensive. So it's only natural that they would only focus on affordability, and kind of with these leaks are saying that they want to make the PS6 affordable, but at the same time a nice jump as well, which 4 or 5 times stronger ray tracing than the PS5 Pro is already a feat in itself and will pay dividends in the future. With other leaks coming out this year that AMD and PlayStation are targeting a 970 XT, which again, if they can pull off that with the wattage that they're aiming for as well, which is like 100 watts less than the PS5, would be ungodly black magic if they could even get close to that, like the way the PS5 does with a 3060 Ti. And not only that, but on top of that, wanting the handheld to cost as much as a PS5 or a little less than it as well. And that handheld is reported to have like 2 times better ability to do ray tracing than the PS5 Pro, which for a handheld is insane. So in some ways, it's going to be stronger than the PlayStation 5, and in other ways, it's going to do things better than the PlayStation 5 Pro does at ray tracing. And on top of that, other rumors say that there might be that handheld, but in a plastic box with a disc drive if you want for $299. And it plays all the games that the PS6 plays, and it plays all the PS4, PS3, PS2. So imagine that for $299, that would make people go to the store and finally put the PS4 away and make this kind of like the PS4 but like affordable version of next gen. Because one of the things the PS4 did that everybody loved is that it was cheap and it was not expensive. You didn't have to break the bank in order for you to get the PS4, and it's why today is probably one of the most beloved and kept consoles in houses to this day. I think there's still like 40% of people who haven't, like, I think it's more than that haven't updated from the PS4, which kind of valid considering how expensive this generation was. And a lot of that has to do with excessiveness when it comes to 4K and AI. And I look forward to what the next generation brings, because it looks like we're getting a little bit more kind of settled in this idea that everything has to be HDR, 4K, with ray tracing top of the line. That's not going to happen anytime soon. I don't even expect that to happen in the PC hardware world with 4K, ray tracing, HDR, everything enabled. I don't expect that to be affordable anytime soon. So I hope that the PlayStation 6 kind of shows the rest of the industry, and I hope AMD does as well, is that you don't need to break the bank in order for you to have a good, fun time when it comes to games and still play the exact same games that other people are playing, just not as good looking, which is good for everybody and everybody wins. I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed, and I know that ray tracing gets enough hate as it is, like, but to be honest with you, it deserves all the hate it gets. But at the same time, it deserves all the praise as well, because ray tracing is an exciting technology. But the truth of the matter is that we were kind of sold wolf tickets when it comes to Nvidia and its AI. The truth is that Nvidia hasn't put out a proper mid-range or lower end card that can do ray tracing for the masses. It's more a niche product that isn't for everybody, and unfortunately they market it as ray tracing being for everything, and they could do it with everything. The truth is that we're not there yet. The PS6 to me excites me more because it feels like it's going to be a more grounded generation of consoles, to where you won't have to have these excessive expensive games for no reason whatsoever and have 4K gaming for no reason whatsoever, when it's insane that 1440p is right there. And it's almost like we skipped a generation in resolutions and just went straight to 4K. And that one is on PlayStation because they wanted the PS5 to be seen as this 4K machine, when in reality it was 1440p at best. Which is why upscaling has become a thing, and why these technologies excite me, because if upscaling is what it's looking like it's going to come up to be, it's going to make everything affordable for everybody. I can't wait to see what PlayStation just does in general. This next generation sounds like it's going to be more grounded. The middle of the generation is coming out, and PlayStation is about to flex its muscles, and that goes for the PC hardware as well area, and that goes as well for the Xbox, whether or not they're kind of competing anymore. I can't wait to see what happens. Let me know what you think in the comment section. What do you think about next generation? What's something from next generation that you want? If you got all the way through, let me know what you think what you want in your PS6. What is it? Like, for me, the dumbest thing that I've ever wanted in a PS6 is that I wanted the frame rates on the PlayStation so you could see what the frame rates were. And my friend was like, that's the dumbest fucking idea I've ever heard in my life. And I'm like, I know, but I want it. Remember, you're pretty good.